comfort my people, says your God. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem and proclaim to her that her hard service has been completed, that her sin has been paid for, that she has received from the Lord's hand double for all her sins. A voice of one calling in the desert, prepare the way for the Lord. Make straight in the wilderness a highway for our God. Every valley shall be raised up, every mountain and hill made low. The rough ground shall become level, the rugged places a plain. And the glory of the Lord will be revealed, and all mankind together will see it. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken.
They say the Lord will take away from the voice of giving him heavy rates for him. When Brenda first requested us that we make some comments about our Christmases in the past, I am looking forward to my 85th Christmas coming up here in a few weeks. And that's where we want to start when you kind of find out what's important in one Christmas. But I thought my memories would better take me back to my childhood, where I was relatively through Midwest in a very rural setting, and at a time that era that included Dust Bowl, the Great Depression, and World War II, all in the space of my formative years. And I thought this might be a place to better perhaps explain. We were held in place by shortages of materials. You couldn't travel, so we were locked into this rural setting, and I think we became closer and more close-knit and appreciative of the things that were happening at that time. Christmas time was particularly, in our family at least, was a very important time. My brothers were serving in the military, and my father and my mother were at home with myself, and being a child, it was quite impressive for me that Christmas in our house was celebrated properly. We were in sparse times economically. Our family was economically challenged, and Christmas gifting did not allow a lot of extra things. But I do recall one event that and I think I was probably 5 years old. I got a little coaster ring. We put our knee in it, we coasted around, and I succeeded in putting a great big dent in our plastered kitchen wall, and I think that still remains in that wall. I think they left it there. No matter, we didn't get to travel, so we were really locked into one area, and physically we, I think, became much closer as a family and in community relationships, and I think that especially culminated at Christmas time. Some of the memories return of this once at this time of year. Some bring smiles of gladness, others bring, sorry to say, tears of sadness and regret for not doing things perhaps a little differently at that point. And I reflect sometimes on that point in my life. I wonder if maybe perhaps living in a different region, under different economic situations, and perhaps at a different time would have resulted in describing different memories. Who knows? I like what my growing family has given me, and I'm very content.
your Christmas memories with us.
As you can possibly imagine, music was a big part of the life of my family. My mother was a singer, and my father was also a singer. So when I was in high school, I went to a very big high school, and my brother and sister and I were all involved with the choirs there. And at Christmas time, they always did a very majestic concert. It involved choirs moving around. We all got to wear socks and didn't have to wear shoes, and a wonderful narration of the story of Jesus' birth. But what I really remember, and I didn't think this would happen to me, what I really remember is the trip that we had going home. After we lived out of town, and it was a 15 or 20-minute drive from the high school to our house. And I remember the lively discussions that we had in the car with my parents about the music that was sung and the story that was told. And this has really made Christmas a very special time.
Thank you so much, Paul. As you get older, you have to put your glasses on. Grace and peace to all of you, all of y'all, as they say in the South. And when Brenda asked me to, asked all of us to share some thoughts with you, this came to mind for me. Music. Music transcends time for me. That is, Advent and Christmas music and lyrics link me to times in my childhood, youth, and throughout my whole adult years. When I hear it and sing it, my heart warms, my soul smiles, and I rejoice. Its message of God's love for me, even me, forever and ever, for all time. Amen. And I have to add this postscript. I have to. My sweet husband was born on Christmas Day, and his mother, all his life to even today, has always said that Pastor Charles, or his Charles, her Charles, my Charles, that he was her Christmas gift that year. And because she had him, he's my Christmas gift too. So I thank God for the beautiful Christmas gift of Charles in my life. He puts a song in my heart every day.
On this joyful Christmas day, sing boom, boom, boom. Christmas after our son died tragically, I was deep in despair. I didn't think I would have any joy at Christmas that year. Then as the Christmas trees were lowered over the balcony, as they used to be at hanging in the greens, and the congregation sang, "O Little Town of Bethlehem," suddenly I was just filled with joy. And it stayed with me throughout that Christmas season. I think I learned that even in the midst of our grief, God has other plans for us, plans for a future with hope.
Driving to and from church on a cold winter Christmas Eve with my grandma Olga and my great-grandma Mima, and usually another church lady in eastern Montana. My grandpa George always drove his own vehicle, so he wasn't with us. It was always an adventure in the beauty of the Christmas Eve service and the darkness and the chill of the night. After the service, Grandma would start the car to heat it up, and I would snuggle in the back with my Mima or the other church lady under a heavy army blanket, just to keep warm. We talked and sang our favorite Christmas songs. The old ways of fellowship between family and church members holds a warm place in my heart. On another cold Christmas Eve, after providing music for my grown-up church, I gathered with another church musician and a used-to-be relative on a floor beside a Christmas tree in sadness. Two of us had recently been through the ending of our marriages. One was missing her children because they were with their father, and one was in the middle of a medical crisis. None of us had any family close. We sat in the darkness and talked, even when the Christmas scene wasn't picture perfect. The blanket of Jesus' love and care comforted us.
I chose to talk about my days growing up in Illinois. We always went to midnight mass at St. Valentine's Church. My sisters and I were always angels at midnight mass until we were too old to wear the costumes. The church was always beautifully decorated, smelling of pine. It was just gorgeous walking that cathedral. The organ sounds were always gorgeous, always made you come out refreshed and just happy for the holidays. I also remember my mother dressing the three of us up in matching dresses. We were all a year apart, but we all had to wear the same dresses, the same bows, and I was so glad when we didn't have to do that anymore. Although they are cute to look back on. I remember my great-grandmother welcoming everybody to church with a hiya honey and a hug that would just break your back. She was amazing. I remember Grandma's cooking from scratch, walking into her house and just the smell of everything. Fresh bread, fresh pies, and yelling at my father to get out of the kitchen because he was always trying to eat something. It also came as my dad was a volunteer fireman for 25 years, and without ever thinking about it, every Christmas Day he was called out on a Christmas fire. And so that's one of the reasons why we never had a live tree growing up. So very happy to move to Montana with my husband and my kids and have a live tree. And the one thing I really miss the most about Christmas back home in Illinois are my relatives, those that are here and those that are gone, and how we were just obnoxiously loud and talking over each other, never listening to each other, but laughing and having fun and making memories to last a lifetime.